Hello, and welcome to... Today we're going over another companion creature, Zirda The Dawnwaker, and how you can use her to make endless mana, endless tokens, endless ETB and death triggers, and finally, we'll talk about the Bomberman combo. If you don't know what the Bomberman combo is, stick around and you'll find out. But only about 15% of my viewers are subbed, so if you end up learning a new combo in this video, consider liking and subscribing for more content. So, Zirda, a 3/3 legendary elemental fox for 1 and 2 white or red mana. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate, but this can't reduce the mana cost of that ability to less than 1 mana. You can also pay 1 and tap her to prevent a creature from blocking this turn. But the real combo potential comes from that cost reducing ability. This isn't a new ability, we've seen it previously on 2 other cards, Training Grounds and Biomancer Familiar. However, Zirda is exciting because 1, we get this ability in red and white. 2, it reduces the cost of all permanents, not just creatures. 3, it can be your commander, and finally 4, the companion ability allows you to essentially have Zirda as a free card in hand as long as all your permanents in your deck have an activated ability. So let's start with all the combos Zirda can do. The first being the most obvious, infinite mana with the Monoliths. Both Grim Monolith and Basalt Monolith tap for 3 colorless mana, but don't untap during your untap phase. You can, however, pay 3 or 4 mana to untap these artifacts. This is where Zirda helps. She reduces the untap cost by 2, so you can tap your Monolith for 3 mana, and then only use 1 of that mana to untap the Monolith, allowing you to tap it again for more mana. Repeat this process for endless colorless mana. But this isn't the only way to make endless mana with Zirda. Palladium Myr taps for 2 mana, and Voltaic Construct allows you to pay 2 to untap an artifact creature. So tap your Myr for mana, and Zirda reduces the Construct's ability to only cost 1 mana. So use 1 of that mana from your Myr to untap your Myr, and then repeat the process for endless colorless mana. Another combo for endless mana is between 2 expensive cards, Metalworker and Staff of Domination. You can tap Metalworker and reveal artifact cards from your hand, and you get 2 colorless mana for each card revealed this way. Staff of Domination does a lot of stuff, but most importantly, you can pay 3 and tap it to untap another creature, and 1 to untap it. So if you tap Metalworker revealing 2 artifacts, you get 4 colorless mana. Now you can untap Metalworker with your Staff of Domination for only 1 mana thanks to Zirda reducing the cost. Use another mana to untap your staff, and repeat the combo for endless colorless mana. You just keep revealing the same 2 artifact cards from your hand. Moving on, Soulbright Flamekin can make you quite a bit of red mana. For 2 mana, you can give a creature trample until end of turn. If you do this 3 times in a turn, you get 8 red mana on your 3rd activation. But Zirda makes that ability only cost 1 mana, so for paying 3 generic mana, you can make 8 red mana each turn. But we can make this better with Cloudstone Curio, a 3-cost artifact that says whenever a non-artifact permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you may return a permanent you control that shares a type with it to its owner's hand. So let's say you have Zirda, a 1-cost red creature, and Cloudstone Curio out, and 5 mana available. You can play your Flamekin, and when it enters, you return your 1-drop to your hand. Now activate the Flamekin 3 times, giving itself trample, and bam, you get 8 red mana. Now with that mana, use 1 of it to play your 1-drop, leaving you with 7 mana. When your 1-drop comes in, return your Flamekin to hand. Now you play your Flamekin for 2 mana, returning your 1-drop to hand, and use 3 of your 5 mana to activate the Flamekin 3 times, making 8 more mana, for 10 red mana total. Repeat the process to make endless red mana. You can even play a 2-drop instead of a 1-drop. You'll just end the cycle with 1 extra red mana instead of 2 extra red mana. This allows you to play cards with good ETB effects like Viashino Pyromancer that does 2 damage each time it enters. Moving on, Eldrazi Displacer is an Eldrazi that can exile another creature and return it to the battlefield for 2 and a colorless, or just a colorless with Zirda. Emrakul's Hatcher create 3 Eldrazi spawn tokens that can be sacked for colorless mana when it enters the battlefield. So if we sack 1 spawn token to make a colorless mana, we can then use it to blink the Hatcher with the Displacer, and get 3 more spawn tokens. Repeat this for endless tokens and endless mana. But this can win you the game if you throw in 1 more card, like Impact Tremors or Perforos or Alter the Brood, to ping and mill your opponents to death with all those ETB triggers. Similarly, Zirda combos with Spawnsire of Ulamog for endless ETB triggers. With the Spawnsire, you can pay 4 to make 2 spawn tokens that you can sack for 1 mana each. Well, with Zirda, you only need to pay 2 to make those tokens. So make 2 tokens, sack the 2 tokens for 2 mana, and then make 2 more tokens with that 2 mana. Repeat until all your opponents die thanks to impact tremors. Really, any token maker that is cheap enough can make endless ETB triggers when paired with the appropriate sack effect. Look at Phyrexian Altar and Mobilization. The Altar lets you sack a creature for 1 mana of any color, and Mobilization makes a 1/1 soldier for 2 and a white, or just a white with Zirda. So make a soldier, sack it to the altar for a white mana, and then use that white to make another soldier. Bam. Endless ETB triggers. Here's another, Ashnod's Altar and Retrofitter. Thanks to Zirda, Retrofitter's abilities cost less, so pay 1 and tap it to create a 1/1 servo. Sack the servo to the altar for 2 colorless mana. Use 1 mana to untap the Retrofitter, and the other mana to pay 1 and tap the Retrofitter to make another servo. And if you have the cash, all of these combos become even better if you play Anointed Procession, because every time you make a token, you actually get 2 tokens. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to use tokens, you can make continual ETBs with Phyrexian Altar and Chrono Savant, a 5/5 that has the ability to return it to the battlefield from the graveyard for 1 and a white, but you skip your next turn. Well, you can pay a white to return the Savant to the battlefield and then sack it to the altar for a white to repeat the process. Just make sure you win on this turn or you'll never take another turn again. But finally, Zirda is seeing some legacy play in Bomberman decks. Bomberman is an older combo that revolves around Auriok Salvagers, Lion's Eye Diamond, and Pyrite Spellbomb. Auriok Salvagers allows you to pay 1 and a white to return an artifact card with a converted mana cost of 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Lion's Eye Diamond lets you sack it and discard your hand for 3 mana of any one color, and Pyrite Spellbomb lets you pay a red and sack it to deal 2 damage to any target. So let's say you have your Salvagers out and you play Lion's Eye Diamond. You sack it and discard your hand with the Pyrite Spellbomb in it to make 3 white mana. You can then use 2 of the 3 white mana to return the diamond to your hand and play it because it costs 0. Crack it for 3 more white mana and repeat until you have like 100 white mana. Then you repeat this process for 100 red mana. Then you can return the Spellbomb to your hand and use white mana to play it. Then you use your red mana to sack it to deal 2 damage to your opponent. Repeat until you win the game. More recently, however, players are replacing the Spellbomb with Walking Ballista. So you can just make 1000 mana with your Diamond Loop, and then return Ballista from the graveyard, play it for 200 mana, and then remove counters from it and ping your opponents to death. Now, all of this was already a combo without Zirda. But since Companion is basically a free card in hand, and your deck meets the requirements for Zirda, why not play her? Then you can also just throw in the Monolith combo into the deck as a secondary way to get endless mana for your Ballista. Anyways, that is Zirda, another companion, another combo. Are you going to use Zirda as your commander, companion, or just in the 99? Are you going to use her in EDH, Legacy, Modern, Pioneer? Let me know down below, and when you need another combo, come back here to Combo Breakdown.